anything that's uncomfortable, once we do it enough times, we become acquainted with that and we become comfortable with it. So if there's anybody right now that feels very fast paced and they don't feel that they can slow down, I would say ask yourself if you see value in slowing down. And if you don't, study that art of slowing down a little bit more.
Let me get context here. I'm looking for the listener that's out there right now, and they're busy, right? Maybe they're working a job, or have a family, dealing with their kids, and we can get caught up in all that doing. And so maybe it's more, what's the recommendation to take the first step to slow down enough so they could hear themselves? Because I think that's what happens to most of us in society. We get caught up in the economics or the doing, and we don't get ourselves the permission to think the way you and I are. And so what if you could share with all of what you've learned, how can they take the first step? What would you recommend, or how did it work for you? I guess whichever comes.
The biggest challenge when it comes to initially practicing the art of slowing down is seeing actual value in it and progression in it. Because initially, and there's still times where I'm frantic and I have to remind myself to slow down. And initially I'll catch an instinct where I feel guilty, or I feel like I'm actually not moving forward, or I feel like I'm being lazy, or I'm not actually getting all this stuff done. But when I'm able to remember, no, this is a part of it. This isn't separate from my progression. This is a part of it. I'm able to feel comfortable by slowing down. I'm able to see that slowing down is actually the next step. Slowing down is actually moving forward. But initially the mind jumps in because I've accustomed myself to pushing and pushing and pushing and moving forward and moving forward and moving forward. So when I do slow down, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not getting anything done. I'm an idiot. I'm not actually utilizing this opportunity. The mind, oh my God, does it ever judge what it's doing, Mm-hmm. But once, anything that's uncomfortable, once we do it enough times, we become acquainted with that and we become comfortable with it. So if there's anybody right now that feels very fast paced and they don't feel that they can slow down, I would say ask yourself if you see value in slowing down. And if you don't, study that art of slowing down a little bit more. See value in it, because if you can see value in it, it'll create a lot more comfort in doing it. It's a progressive practice. It's not a step backwards. It's actually probably 6 steps forward from where you actually are.
It's so amazing. It takes a while, and you hit on the exact way I wanted to answer the question, by the way, because I was looking for that value. How did you find the value to give yourself? Because it's all about priorities, right? So if we're not giving ourselves the time to slow down, it's because we haven't prioritized it. We haven't given it the weight that it deserves, because we think it's more important to be doing. And so for me, this is how I see it. And so as I started to see the value, it was in the slowing down that my power came. And how I best share this with people is, many of us have had a really long day, or even pulled an all-nighter. And at the end of that time, you're trying to finish something and you're like, I've got to do it. And then you finally break down and go to bed, right? And you go to bed and you sleep, and then you wake up in the morning, the thing that you were trying to solve for maybe hours, sometimes you solve in 5 minutes. It's that power of rest, right? It's that power. And now as I work with CEOs and people that have been in this rat race, and I have them slow down and I get them to take more vacations and holidays, and then they come back and I'm like, how is it? And they're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, Steve. I'm thinking better. I'm making smarter decisions. I can have so much more clarity where I didn't before. I'm making less mistakes because, when you run really fast, you might trip up, and that momentum keeps you going because you just get up and go again. But what if you actually saw the hole and you didn't trip in it at all, because you were going slow enough to see it? And so in that moment, what's also transformative is I go, wouldn't you like this for all your people? In the whole company? Right. And then they realize grinding all their staff for as many hours as they can is not purposeful either. It's like having a drill with low battery. How fast can you drill the holes? At the beginning, it's and you're drilling all these holes. And then the battery goes low. Do you say, oh, I've got 10 more holes, I'm going to get it? And it's you know, like doing the best voices I can here. And then, and you can't drill in. But what if you paused? You're going to slow down for a minute, right? You have to slow down to go get a new battery, but you get that new battery. How much faster will you get that job done? And so I find tremendous amount of value. And even on my last holiday, we went for 4 weeks and I was speaking in Africa. And so we built a whole holiday around it. And when I go that long, I plan to work a bit because it's a month and checking in with my team. Well, the first week I got there, I was planning on having internet, and then the internet didn't work the whole first week. So in my old days, I would have spent all this time trying to find internet, go here, go there. And part of me was like, oh, the universe is telling me like, slow down, you know? So now I even get cues from it. And I did slow down. And, you know, there's part of me that was like, what impact is this going to have? But I knew that it was something right. And some of the things we're doing right now in our business downloaded to me during that time of stillness, during that time of quiet. And also my team made it out without me being there. You know, there was parts of me that were like, oh, I should have been on that meeting, but they all made it through and everything worked out. And now I'm smarter for it. I'm making better decisions.
That's such a gift to be able to be given too, because a lot of people with teams, they feel they need to get involved. They need to get involved. And for you to see that everything flows as you step out, that is a phenomenal gift, I believe, from the universe to you to be able to trust deeper.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And that is it. You know, it's like, you know, if you together has been a big word for me. It's definitely one of our core values, but it's been really big. And, you know, I love, and it's interesting here. I'm bringing this up when I spoke in Namibia. So I'm in Africa, but it's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Ooh, so true.
It's brilliant. So,
'cause imagine even the human body. Yeah. If the human body were just one cell, we wouldn't have this experience.
Yeah, done. What is that, plankton? Do they have one cell? I don't know.
I don't know, but they're not going pretty far.
Yeah, it's definitely a different experience than being human. So so with all this value now, and by the way, my wife, when we were dating, she always said, you never stop and smell the roses, like, because I was always go, you know, and I appreciate her so much more now, like that she saw that way back when I didn't see it, you know, and now that echoes in my head, like her saying that, and it's like, slow down, look at that flower, look at that plant, look at that tree, and just, I'm in awe of nature. I mean, and it's effortless. Like a tree doesn't work hard to grow. It just grows.
It just grows, and there's chaos. There's chaos in that growth. There's storms, there's wind, there's snow sometimes, rain. Like there's so many elements, but the tree doesn't process that. The tree isn't afraid to die. Even when the tree falls down, it becomes the soil. Like it just consistently flows with whatever life throws at it. And even when death comes to the tree, that's life being thrown at it because the tree evolves into the soil. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Hey there, I want to give you something really big. It's called Clear Path to Customers. It's the way that we get the right language to get the right client. I like to call them your wow clients, so that you can have more results, more revenue, more raving fans, and more referrals. And I want to give this to you absolutely free. And all you have to do is go to stevenapolitan.com to check it out, or you can look at the description here. We'll put the details there. As always, remember, choose gratitude and create freedom.